Vivriti presents the Game Changers Summit.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to Vivriti Presents the Game Changer Summit in partnership with CNBC TV 18. We are talking about ideas that inspire and turn our world around and innovators who see change as an opportunity and not a threat. Welcome to a learning summit. Welcome to the Game Changers. Indian healthcare is rapidly evolving. It would not be an overstatement to then say that the country is going through a healthcare revolution. And since the advent of COVID 19, providing quality yet affordable healthcare for all has been the mantra. But over years, tier 2 and 3 cities have faced the dearth of quality healthcare and services. And even though there has been an increase in investment diversification for the overall development of the healthcare infrastructure, much still needs to be achieved. India is a diverse country, and its healthcare is no different. May I now invite Vineet Sukumar, MD and CEO of Vivriti Capital and Vivriti Asset Management, to the podcast to tell us more about Vivriti, the summit, and introduce us to our panel of experts today who will be speaking on the theme Taking Healthcare to Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities.
Thanks, Mugdha, and a warm welcome to our listeners. Vivriti was founded 5 years ago on the premise that mid market India deserves access to debt capital. We support hundreds of mid corporates through access to multiple debt products. Vivriti has, till date, provided over 11,000 crores of debt to its clients till date. On August 26th, we bring to you the Game Changers Summit, a celebration of entrepreneurship. You will meet people who have changed the face of their domain, be it in business, technology, science, or sports. Our podcast series, as a run up to this event, powered by CNBC TV 18, delves into specific sectors that are critical to India's growth, resilience, and self reliance. Today, you will meet two remarkable entrepreneurs who have taken healthcare to the masses in the tier 2 to tier 4 towns of India. You will meet Gaurav Agarwal, a biomedical engineer with 2 decades of experience in interventional cardiology, who started IITPL in 2016 to make heart care affordable by setting up cath labs in tier 3 and tier 4 towns. With this, I will hand it back to Mukta to take the podcast forward. Thank you.
Thank you for setting the stage, Mr. Sukumar. Let us take the momentum forward and talk about today's theme, taking healthcare to tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And now I have the pleasure of welcoming Mr. Gaurav Agrawal, Managing Director, Innovation Imaging Technologies Private Limited. IITPL was founded in the year 2015 and is now one of India's fastest growing medical device company. Mr. Agrawal, welcome. IITPL is focused on manufacturing of cardiac catheterization lab, and there is a growing demand for cath labs throughout the country, be it tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. What have you seen since 2015, and what have been the learnings and therefore the new offerings from your company?
Well, one of the biggest changes has been that this sector was nearly 100% import dependent back when we founded IITPL. And one of the goals, missions of the company was to make cardiovascular care more accessible. So, just to give you a little perspective on that, India has a disease burden of about 70 million patients suffering from cardiovascular disease, and under 1 million angioplasties being performed at about 2,500 odd hospitals in the country. So, as the statistics show, the therapy is grossly underpenetrated, and therefore, cardiac disease is the number one cause of death in the country. So, in 2015, there were under 500 cath labs in the country. This is as per the NIC data, which is basically an interventional cardiology conference. And today, we have about 2,500 cath labs. The market has rapidly grown, largely because driven by three factors. One is Ayushman Bharat. So Ayushman Bharat covers angioplasty as a procedure, and that has fueled a growth in the market. The second is post-COVID, there has been a huge spurt in number of cardiovascular events. So there are several studies to prove that post-COVID, there are much higher chances of a cardiovascular event. And the third is that there is tremendous underpenetration of the therapy. So these three factors together have fueled a very rapid growth in this industry. and I would say it bodes extremely well for tier 3, tier 4 cities where a lot of patients and lives are being lost because of less access or no access to a cath lab.
Let's talk about medical imaging. And medical imaging as a sector has seen massive changes. How have you seen the industry evolve, the technology evolve, especially when we also talk about your own offering, Pinnacle?
Medical imaging is one of the fastest growing industries in medical device space. It is unfortunately also the most import dependent. So about 25% of India's import is only in medical electronics, and a large part of that is in medical imaging. So to answer your question, medical imaging is continuing to see leaps and bounds in terms of growth in technology. There are several algorithms that make the therapy a lot more safer, a lot more precise, and the duration of the therapy is reducing. So this is being done with a lot of advancements in the way X-ray doses are delivered. You know, there are a lot of ways where you can deliver a very small dose, which is as efficacious as large dose in the past. The second difference is the precision. So there are a lot of tools which are making the therapy extremely precise. And third is the duration of the procedure with, I think, very advanced hardware and navigation tools. We are seeing that the success rates, the procedural success rates have significantly gone up. And at Pinnacle, our endeavor has been to make Pinnacle one of the cath labs with the lowest possible scatter radiation dose and make it as safe for the operator and for the patient as possible. And we also adopt some very, very innovative differentiated technologies where, for example, we use a high definition panel that at very low doses delivers very, very good high image quality that enables clinicians to make very accurate and precise clinical judgments.
What was the pandemic like for you in terms of managing a company that was already at an edge with the demand? And what were your own personal learnings, Mr. Agarwal?
Pandemic was a very tough period for us, like everybody else. We were just beginning to come into our own. We had a very successful start, and it came to a screeching halt because of the pandemic. And pandemic shifted the focus entirely from metabolic disease to infectious diseases, and the whole paradigm changed. You know, at that point in time, we were very aggressively hiring. So as an entrepreneur, it was extremely tough, to ensure that our people don't suffer. We continue to pay their salaries on time, and we lived through that period with a lot of grit and determination. My learnings really during the pandemic were that resilience is what determines your ability to stay in the long run, to complete the course. And the best organizations that sustain the test of time are not those who are the sharpest, or not those who have the best technology, not even those who have the biggest and the deepest pockets. They're the ones who are the most resilient. So we were very resilient throughout, and I'm proud to say that we continued to hire during the pandemic. We added about 18% of our workforce. We did not lay anybody off, and I'm proud to say that all people were paid 100% of their salaries, even during the pandemic.
Before I let you go, what are some of the technological innovations in the healthcare industry that you're seeing in the world that are exciting you and should be brought to India?
Healthcare as a sector is seeing a lot of influx of technology because most of the technologies are either life-saving or are aiding life-saving equipment. So one of the technologies I'm personally very excited about is robotics. Siemens has bought out a company called Corindus Vascular, which is a robot which actually has the capability to perform angioplasty procedures, both for cardiac and other parts of the body. So that is one technology I'm extremely fascinated by. We are in various stages of discussion with some academic universities as well as some early stage companies to integrate that with our cath lab. The second technology that I'm very intrigued and interested in is use of AI and ML in imaging. Using artificial intelligence, there are algorithms that can help make the therapy a lot more safer and a lot more precise. So GE now has a cath lab which is largely AI driven, and that is a big part of our product roadmap going forward. The third frontier that I'm very excited about is digital medicine or telemedicine, remote health. So we are now looking at ways by which the disease can at least be diagnosed remotely, and the therapy can be done at site or physically. So these are three big, bold frontiers that we're working on, and I'm very excited about.
Well, thank you so much for this wonderful chat, Mr. Agrawal. Wishing you and IITPL all the very best for the future.
Thank you very much for the time.